It was on a crisp Friday evening in Lagos when Prince Tolu Adebayo first laid eyes on Boma Okoye. The setting: a tech industry cocktail party hosted under glass chandeliers. Tolu, a passionate software developer in his late 20s, wore a fitted navy suit that looked slightly rumpled, the marks of deadlines and coding marathons. His dream: to launch a disruptive app. Boma, 25, floated in a soft ivory dress, flanked by 8. Her laughter rang like a lyric, and to Tolu, it felt like the universe paused for a beat. Their connection was instant. He gushed about algorithms. She teased him over obscure wedding traditions in her father's hometown. They traded opinions. He on barefoot hackathons, she on barefoot diplomacy. When the two were photographed together, she joked, "Finally, a photo where I don't look like I'm auditioning for Vogue." He replied, "And you're smiling at me. That's rare." The moment held. Over the next 2 weeks, they met at cafes, beaches, and tech talks. She insisted on paying her share. He refused. He argued that she should enjoy the gesture. She flicked sesame seeds on her phone-warm coffee and laughed. "You're the broke storyteller in this story, not the oil heiress." They fell into easy intimacy. Charged conversation, soft smiles, a kiss under the moon at Lekki's beach. Boma confided that life with her father, Chief Damian Okoye, came with expectations: suits, alliances, dynasties. Tolu shared his dream of building a startup from scratch. She admired his integrity. He admired her courage to love openly. Chief Okoye ran a highly traditional household. On a Sunday sanction, a shimmering priestess Ifunanya arrived, tall, poised, and softly powerful. She wore white wrappers and cowrie shells, her presence commanding hush. She peered into kola nuts, murmured prayers, and announced, "The union between spark and ember must be tempered with blood and earth." She told them they must prove dedication beyond love to family, tradition, spirit. Boma nodded, uneasy, for she hadn't mentioned Tolu to the priestess. Tolu placed his hand on her arm. She swallowed. Somewhere between ceremony drums and ancestor whispers, she realized their love was about to be tested. Not just by rules, but by blood and fire. A month later, at Chief Okoye's mansion in never-ending Abuja, Tolu nervously dropped to one knee under a chandelier that blazed like 1,000 suns. Cameras flashed, incense burned, and Boma's smile shook his world. Chief Okoye clapped politely. Daughter hugged father. Cameras captured every second. Soon after, Boma confided to her mother that the hush in her father's gaze bothered her. Her father's silence hovered like a threat. The priestess watched and whispered warm blessings to mother and daughter in secret prayers. As Tolu entered her father's world, tension surfaced. He drove into the Okoye compound, flashing past security gates he didn't understand. They gifted him a Jaguar and weekend ski trips. Lavish gestures he neither asked for nor understood. He rejected the car. Chief Okoye frowned. In privacy, he asked Boma, "Is he ashamed?" Boma insisted he wasn't, but Tolu started disappearing. Cold calls, missed appointments, messages ignored. He told her he wasn't ready for the embassy-level life. Boma felt hurt. He felt suffocated. The spark dimmed. Priestess Ifunanya observed quietly. She couldn't ignore gathering tension. At night, she prepared protective oil and herbs. In the quiet of Boma's room, she whispered, "We are born of blood and earth, my child. Love is tested, not broken." She encouraged Boma to ask her lovers to walk through a cleansing ritual. Boma, resolute, arranged a midnight meeting in the family shrine. There, under torchlight, the priestess guided them through kola, palm wine, and oaths. They vowed made at dawn. Loyalty beyond blood, love beyond wealth. Proof enough to ancestors. Tolu squeezed Boma's hand. She nearly broke through tears. The moment felt sacred. But once the ritual ended, reality returned. Tolu's business faltered. Investors began to pull back after whispers of him being a kept man. Headlines labeled him tech fiancé to oil heiress. Every win felt like her doing. He stopped attending events, Boma noticed. When she offered support, he recoiled. Let me stand on my own legs, even if I fall. The pain wasn't just in the public perception, but in the invisible death love had turned into. At a high-profile family banquet for international guests, Tolu arrived late, dressed in a simple buba and trousers. Boma's father refused to shake his hand. When asked to give a short toast, Tolu declined. The room tensed. Later in private, Chief Okoye said to Boma, "A man who cannot adapt does not belong beside royalty." Priestess Ifunanya simply looked at Tolu that night and said, "Even a lion must bow to the rhythm of the drum if he wishes to mate with the moon." They fought. Boma accused him of pride. Tolu accused her of condescension. She cried. He packed a bag. It was the first time he said, "Maybe we weren't meant to cross worlds." Boma stood still as the door clicked. The priestess was waiting outside, as if summoned by fate. She said only, "Some men must break to rebuild." In the weeks that followed, Boma buried herself in work. The silence was heavier than heartbreak. Her father proposed a marriage to the son of a senator. She declined. Her mother reminded her, "Not every man dares to love a powerful woman." Priestess Ifunanya began visiting her again. This time not with kola or chants, but with questions. What do you want? Not just in a man, but in your life. Meanwhile, Tolu returned to his roots. Living with his cousin in Yaba, he coded through nights. He pitched to investors with no family name to back him. The struggle was pure, and slowly, so were the victories. His app went live. Feedback poured in. The media covered him again, not as the heiress's fiancé, but as a disruptor. He sent Boma a silent message. No words, just the app name. She smiled. Priestess Ifunanya visited him. She forgave you a long time ago, but now she sees you as a man who made himself. Tolu returned, not to kneel, but to stand beside her. They married under the open sky. Tolu in bespoke Yoruba agbada, Boma in red and gold lace with coral beads. The priestess tied their wrists with white thread. Now, you are equals by spirit, not just by birth. Chief Okoye gave a nod, subtle but sincere. Love had not defeated power, it had redefined it. They launched a foundation, tech education for underprivileged girls. She ran the boardroom, he ran the servers. They debated in love, failed in private, rebuilt daily. Their mansion had no gate guards, just a plaque that read, "Here, ambition met compassion." Years later, their daughter stood before the same priestess, kola in one hand, tablet in the other. "Can I be both?" she asked. The priestess smiled. "You already are." Boma and Tolu watched her with pride. Their love story wasn't perfect, but it had endured, not despite the wealth, but through it. At a conference in Nairobi, Boma delivered a speech that resonated across the continent. She spoke of balance, of not having to shrink for love or power. She mentioned her father's name and her husband's legacy with equal pride. Tolu, watching from the crowd, had never looked at her with more admiration. After the event, a reporter asked Tolu, "How does it feel to be the husband of one of Africa's most powerful women?" He smiled. "I'm the husband of a woman who knows her worth and made me know mine." Back at the hotel, they celebrated over suya and champagne. "From Yaba to Nairobi," Tolu whispered. Boma clinked her glass. "And beyond." One afternoon, Priestess Ifunanya called them both to the family shrine. Her hair had turned silver, her voice softer but no less commanding. "You two were never meant to just marry. You were meant to shift something deeper," she said. "Now, others will follow your path, not through ease but through courage." She handed them both a carved staff, one for logic, one for spirit. "This is yours now. Carry the story." She turned to leave the shrine. Boma wept gently. Tolu bowed low. The priestess walked into the woods, a white cloth trailing behind her. At a family dinner under fairy lights and palm trees, Tolu gave a toast to love that fights, to families that bend, to stories that outlive us. The